Two state rivals face off tonight on FSN. Eastern Washington is led by Rodney Stuckey, last year's fabulous freshman. He's back where he grew up, looking to lead an Eagles upset. Standing in his way at 7 feet, this year's new superstar Spencer Hawes and the Huskies' incredible first-year class. See how the future plays out next on FSN.
Talk about your home cooking. Washington is starting the season with 10 of its first 11 games at home, and so far so good. The Huskies are 4-0, and tonight facing an Eastern Washington team that is trying to get some traction in its schedule, and a roster full of Western Washington guys. Hello again, Brian Davis along with Bob Weiss. Let's start the Eagles story with the story of Rodney Stuckey, the sophomore guard out of Kentwood High School here in the Seattle area. One of the best in the nation last year at 24 points a game. He's doing even better this season.
He's a tremendous player. Everybody knows about his scoring, his assists and rebounds. Also, he's a defender. But the thing that impresses me is how many times he gets to the line. When you get to the line almost 10 times a game in college, that's a lot. And it puts a lot of pressure on the defense. It gets your other team in foul trouble. It makes the big step up when you're getting into the paint all the time and open up your team to offensive rebounding. So he's a very valuable player. It's going to be interesting to see if he can get into the paint against Pondexter.
Well, Quincy Pondexter last Sunday against Sacramento State became the 4th Husky player in as many games to lead the team in scoring.
Oh, they're well-rounded, 4 different scorers, but Pondexter's there every night with his energy, offensive skills, his rebounding. He just makes things happen.
It may come down to, for Mike Burns and Eastern Washington, the perimeter players, the supporting cast, if you will. We know about Pondexter's. How about Phil Nelson? How about Adrian Oliver? How about Spencer Hawes? And don't forget about the sophomore captain, John Brockman. Tip-off next at the B of A in Seattle. 16th in the Associated Press media poll. That after starting 4-0, most recently a 9-point victory over Sacramento State, game in which they trailed by 13 points. And Lorenzo Romar said, you know, we needed to reinforce the system with our guys. Eastern Washington opened the season with losses to Gonzaga and UNLV, then recovered with victories over NAIA teams, most recently Evergreen State Monday night in Cheney. Rodney Stuckey in that game led the Eagles in scoring for the 31st time. You know his head coach Mike Burns knows he's got somebody special.
You know that night in and night out, no matter who we're playing anywhere in the country, that, you know, we have one guy that can go out and make plays for us. And that's a comforting thing to know as a coach because, you know, a lot of times in this game, you know, you get towards the end of the shot clock, it's not so much about running a play as it is about making a play, and Rodney can do those things.
I think for both teams, Bob Weiss, protecting the basketball will be key in this ball game. It has hurt both sides. Again, the Huskies have won their first 4 games, but they've turned the ball over 20 times a game.
Well, Coach Romar wants his players to experiment a little bit. You're treating this as a, you know, this isn't Pac-10 basketball, and so he's getting ready for that. So he doesn't mind a few mistakes now as long as they're learning from them.
On the other hand, Eastern Washington went over to Spokane and turned the ball over 15 times in the first half, lost by 15 to Gonzaga, turned it over early at UNLV, actually went on a run and tied the ball game at 70 before they lost by 3. In addition to Stuckey, well, watch the battle in the post tonight. Paul Budarak is 2 blocked shots shy of the all-time Eastern Washington career record, and Spencer Hawes had a half a dozen blocks the other night against Sacramento State. Hawes is already making great gains 4 games into the team high in blocks set by Brockman last year.
Yeah, he's a great shot blocker, and he does it without getting in foul trouble. He's just got great feel, so it looks like it's going to be a little hard to score in the paint tonight. Both ends.
Perimeter play. Washington averaging 37 points from 3. But remember, they were 11 of 17 against Nicholls State. They were 26% against their other 3 opponents. Justin Dentman, maybe a little overshadowed, shooting better from the floor, from 3, from the foul line. the first 4 games of the season. Pondexter looked inside for help along the baseline. Nobody home. So quickly a turnover and a chance for Eastern.
Yeah, that was just an errant pass there. That wasn't even close. And but the exciting thing is Stuckey and Pondexter are matched up against each other on both ends. So it will be a fun game. There's turnarounds, fair play.
Pondexter intercepts the pass from the true freshman point guard Michael Taylor. Now leaves the ball in his sophomore point guard's hands. Dentman on the elbow to Haas. He can do so many things well, including face the basket and score from 15 feet away.
You know, that shot is almost impossible to defend. You're trying to keep him from getting closer to the hoop. He just spins and fades away and uses that glass. Bill Walton is the guy that comes to mind with that shot.
Taylor from Brewster, Washington to Omar Cram for 3. Knocks it down. Eastern Washington, a 36% three-point team. Its first 4 games of the season.
Coach Burns wants his team to come out and be aggressive. They're not going to, you know, just run the clock down. They're going to go out, get the first good shot they can take, and take it with confidence.
Off the hands of the senior forward Derek Risper out of Moreno Valley, California. A number of junior college transfers on this team. Eastern Washington has built quite a tradition. A couple of years ago to the NIT, to the NCAA tournament under Ray Giacoletti, who then went to the University of Utah. And now Mike Burns has continued here. This is a team that is set up to make a pretty good run this season in the Big Sky Conference after finishing 500 a year ago.
Well, they've got more maturity. He's added a couple players. It's going to be a nice club.
Appleby off the rub set by Haas. A lot of room left by the true freshman Taylor. And Appleby makes him pay. Ryan Appleby has taken 21 three-point shots now and only 5 inside the arc.
Well, that's the kind of a player he is. You know, you don't want him to pass up shots. Speaking of not passing up shots.
Hello. How about the fall away? Looking at a double team. Stuckey knocks down his first field goal of the afternoon. And overplaying the passing lane, knocking the ball away. The pass intended for Pondexter. Stuckey, a state champion in Class 4A here in the state of Washington at Kentwood High School. He, like John Brockman of Washington, is on the initial list of 50 candidates for this year's Wooden Award for Collegiate Player of the Year. Brockman working Risper in the post. Pondexter, tough shot, rebound Haas.
Great defense to make this first shot, Aaron. But what happened was Pondexter drove. The big fella started to come over from the other side, and that left Haas all alone on the board. That's what that penetration does for you.
Cram may have had that shot tipped from the backside. Off the side of the glass, and here come the Huskies in transition. That is a stock and trade. We're going the other direction.
Close to a really nice move. They said he turned it over, though.
Dentman, 13 points, 5 assists a game, shooting 50% from the floor, 44% from 3. He's 11 of 12 from the free throw line. Again, those are in places significant improvements from his performance a year ago. Stuckey puts it on the floor one time, long, almost an NBA range 3-team rebound. Brockman and Dentman. And the ball off the foot of Cram, picks it up. This is a live play. Brockman can't stop him, and Omar Cram with the finish to give the Eagles a tie in the early going here at the Bank of America Arena. Pondexter has the pass knocked away by Taylor. Very active Eastern Washington defensively.
And there you saw Appleby do what he's wanted to do more this season. Go ahead, put the ball on the floor. You know, it's okay that he's going to shoot a lot of threes, but he also wanted to expand his game and get inside. Not necessarily to score, but just to make things like that happen.
Michael Taylor, also a state champion, twice a state champion, along with Gonzaga's David Pendergraft at Brewster, which is Class 1A in the state of Washington. Pondexter working. Adrian Oliver takes the rebound away from Buderak, but this time Risper boxes out and sends Taylor to the races from 3, and not getting any love from the rim. Everything but the finish. Rebound to Haas.
Thought that was Ray Allen out there as quick as he took that one.
You like it? Buy it. Nice pass. Oliver Hawes, left-handed. Spencer Hawes is 3 for 3 and has a half dozen points.
And that was not an easy shot. That was great presence. Just catch it, one motion right up off the glass.
Graham at the free throw line is called for shoving Pondexter in the back. He doesn't like the call, but Washington basketball. Second turnover for the Eagles. Washington has given up 3 times. Dentman takes a seat, having a word with the coaches as Appleby now running the Washington offense out top. Oliver, the lefty. Nice move to get the defense to commit. Tries to finish and is just a little bit strong. Budarak's rebound.
Budarak didn't block that shot, but he prevented 2 points. He made him shoot that ball higher. He almost got it, recovered, and got the rebound.
Pondexter got into Stuckey's face. Budarak with the cleanup and the finish.
So far, I think Pondexter's doing a nice job on Stuckey. He's made him take a couple difficult shots.
Watch out for Budarak, though. He'll get you some second chance points. He's averaging a double-double for the Eagles. Appleby. Artem Wallace puts it on the floor at the elbow. Budarak got a hand on it. Don't know if he'll get a credit for the block there, but Pondexter off the baseline goes to the other side of the rack and scores.
And that is one problem when you're a shot blocker. You got to go after the ball. It opens up the offensive rebounding.
Budarak sees an opportunity to take Artem Wallace to the post.
That was a nice move, too. I'm impressed with Budarak so far.
Washington has 6 rebounds, 50-50 offensive and defensive glass. That's a team that averages 15 offensive rebounds a game. And Hans Gasser, one of the 2 seniors on this team from Issaquah, Washington, riding the seesaw here a little bit, bumps the Huskies back into the lead.
Washington showing you their versatility and depth with Hans coming in, hitting the jump shot.
Gasser is called for the push-off inside the lane. Pondexter with a good battle against Stuckey early. The Huskies with the lead by a deuce, 5 minutes and changing. Where can I take you?
Just, you know, this team's not backing off. Where's our stats? What's
They'll be coming down this way.
What's Stuckey doing so far?
Stuckey is one out of 3, and that includes 1 3-pointer missed. Did they give Budarak the block? No, they did not. Yes. Yeah. Hey, come back.
Fixed tickets are on sale now for the NCAA Women's Volleyball West Regional, December 8th and 9th here at Bank of America Arena. You'll see 4 of the top 16 teams in the nation competing for a chance to advance to the Final Four. Purchase your regional tickets at the arena box office through halftime tonight or visit GoHuskies.com. Checking in for Eastern, number 1, Marcus Hinton, number 5, Matt Monticello.
Rodney Stuckey is one of 3 former Washington State champions on the floor right now for Eastern Washington. You saw him here on FSN when Stuckey's Kentwood team won the state championship in 2004. But you look out there, I see Kellen Williams from Franklin High School and Brandon Moore from Bethel High School. Those guys wound up getting a share of hardware as well. Air ball on the 3 ball from Matt Pennincello. Washington in transition. Appleby can't make them pay. Stuckey in transition does a nice job of finding Penicello, and then Oliver with the rebound is submarined by Marcus Hinton, the junior out of Wilson High School in Tacoma, and we're going the other way.
You know, I thought Stuckey handled that ball very well. He got it to a man that had a clear path. Good cover by Appleby, and also a good rebound. Oliver gets his share of rebounds in there, and not just the long ones. He goes in after the hoop.
Detman, the only Washington starter on the floor right now. Wallace working, posting up more, and more with the rebound. Wallace had it pop out of the cylinder. Stuckey turns around and scores. Just a sweet shot, sets and shoots all in one motion.
And it's not a coincidence that Pondexter's not in the game and he gets that easy shot.
Now Detman and Stuckey trying to get the offensive foul called. Appleby left alone for a moment, steps out, resets, and fires. Artem Wallace over the back and is called for fouling Brandon Moore. Wallace, the sophomore out of Toledo, Washington.
Coach Romar didn't take long. One easy shot by Stuckey, and back comes Pondexter.
Kellen Williams will inbound the ball. Romar had a couple of tough-minded practices this week, as just felt his young guys particularly needed to understand that they do things in practice the way they want them to do it in the game.
Right, and you have to do them at the same intensity, and you can't turn it on and off.
Pondexter leaves his feet. Stuckey shoots, misses, but will go to the free throw line. That's a veteran move right there.
That was good, and because what he has to do, I thought his first 3 shots he made a tough fadeaway. The other 2 shots were very quick and very long. Then he gets one easy one against Appleby from about 17 feet. But this is what he's got to do against Pondexter. He has got to penetrate him, because if you get him in foul trouble, all of a sudden he's got to play a little more tentatively defensively. So here he is on the penetration, gets him up in the air, and that's a great move. You got him moving towards you. You just take the shot, try and get the three-pointer, but you got him in foul trouble.
Stuckey is an 87% three-point shooter. Had 17 points in Washington's 91-74 victory here last December 16th. But he was 6 of 20 from the floor as the Huskies really bothered him. Of course, they no longer have Jamal Williams and Brandon Roy, who combined in that game for 51 points.
Well, true, and also he had some, really good defenders, veteran defenders defending him in that game.
A little too much air into the ball from Pondexter for Haas. Graham brings it up for the Eagles. Now Hinton, ball faking, delivering to Penicello. Nice pass to Moore in the score. Wow, we talk about Washington moving the basketball. Eastern Washington has got a little bit of that and a 4-point lead.
Well, one of the big concerns to Coach Burns was, can I rotate the ball? He's well aware of the pressure that Washington puts on you, and that was one of the things he really tried to work on, was let's get the ball from one side to the other. Let's also not get caught up in trying to run too much. If you get something, go ahead and take it, and that's because that's what you have to do against pressure.
Off the set play, great play by Pondexter. Muscled past Penicello and then shot around the leaping Brandon Moore.
That's right, he got a good one. That was a great executed play, because Pondexter actually got a back pick there as he cut.
6-point run now for the Huskies. Setting and in and out. Crabb can't get the finish. Pondexter in transition, looking for John Brockman, who finds himself some room, but he did it by shoving off with the elbow, and the basket will not count. Player control foul, and John Brockman delivers for Washington the 4th team foul. Eagles by 2 as we hit the mid-stage of the first. Minutes into the ball game, Washington has out-rebounded Eastern 10-5, but also has 5 turnovers to the Eagles 2. And the legendary Huskies coach Marv Harshman, who coached Lorenzo Romar here at the University of Washington, he'd probably have a thing or two to say about the turnovers. Bob Weiss.
Yeah, I don't think he'd like that too much.
Taylor back on the floor. looking for more. Trying to post up Haas and can't get the turn or the finish. Now Cram bothers Pondexter coming up the floor. Detman inside to Haas. Sweet feed in a tight space. And all of a sudden Spencer Haas has 8 points to lead all scorers. Wow, right back at you. And Williams with the steal and the easy basket. Not for nothing was he a state champion for Jason Kerr at Franklin High School here in Seattle.
You know, there's a good lesson for you. Great drive on a baseline by Detman for a feed. You don't have any time to be high-fiving or you got to get back against this club because they're going to come right back at you.
Haas looking for Brockman. The chase. John Brockman tries to knock it out of bounds off Cram but can't hit him cleanly. So 6 turnovers now for the University of Washington Eagles basketball.
They definitely got to clean up the turnovers.
Washington averaging 22 turnovers a game. See the numbers here in this late afternoon matchup to be they. Great finish in the Civil War, which you saw here on FSN. Sonics in Sacramento a little bit later tonight as we go from college football to college hoop and the NBA on FSN.
Coach Romar's a little bit tolerant of the turnovers, and he understands and he knows where he's going with that, but I think his patience is going to wear out pretty soon if it keeps up like this.
Budarak driving baseline, and he will shoot a pair as he's hit by Haas.
That showed a lot of mobility for a big man to drive like that from the corner.
Budarak will turn 23 years old tomorrow. He's a senior out of Medical Lake, Washington, right by Cheney. Wanted to stay home and play basically so his mom and dad, his family and friends could come watch it. Budarak again 2 blocks shy of the Eastern Washington all-time blocked shots record. Had 51 last year. That was a single season record.
He's only shooting 50% from the line, but that's a nice looking stroke. I can't see that lasting for the year. He was 6 for 12. Now he's 8 for 14.
Haas off the backboard, rebound to Budarak. Nelson swings and misses, trying to steal from Cram. Stuckey left all alone, but just a little bit long. Brockman with the rebound. Gets it right back from Oliver, goes to the rack and scores.
That's a way for a big man to run the floor. Good control.
Cram working on Brandon Burmeister. The other senior on this Washington team. Taylor leaves for Williams. Cram left a little bit of room by Burmeister. Williams skying to knock the rebound out to Taylor. Underneath, Budarak left alone and then hammered by Haas as he takes it up, and Budarak will shoot 2 more, and Spencer Haas has 2 personal fouls.
With 9.5 minutes to go, he's going to be out of there.
That's his second personal foul. 16 fouls on the
There you see a nice skip pass. Puts Haas in a tough position. Now in this last possession before this, there was a lot of penetration, but every time the Eagles penetrated, their kick-out passes were not on the money. It would have been shots if they'd have thrown it right to the man's chest, but they had to go grab them. And when you penetrate like that, you got to deliver a shooting pass.
Haas remains in the game with 2 personals. Brockman has found himself in foul trouble a couple of times this year, and this time Budarak misses both. Oliver for the rebound.
And Coach Shaw just went over and said something to Romar. I think he just wanted to make sure. Sometimes as a head coach, you don't catch that foul situation. And so as an assistant, it's your job to make sure, okay, do you understand that he's got 2? And sometimes we'll say, yeah, but sometimes they're not aware of it.
Cram travels with the basketball, and Washington, after Brandon Burmeister drills the 3-pointer, is back within a point. Eastern Washington taking time out. Hans Gasser leading the Huskies to the home bench. Eagles are shooting 50% from the floor. Last year here at the Bank of America Arena, they shot 35% from the field. Spencer Hawes early on. We talk about the 2 fouls, but let's not forget about 4 of 5 from the floor and 2 rebounds.
No, Spencer's playing a very good offensive game, and it's kind of rare. He is very poised and doesn't, take clumsy fouls. He was put in a tough situation on that last one. It's unfortunate he has to sit down, and I don't think Coach Romar did realize he had to, because Coach Shaw went up, said something to him. He immediately went over, grabbed Pondexter. Pondexter's in the game for Hawes.
Now you talk about the skip pass being part of Eastern Washington's arsenal, and Burns thought that it would have to be that way today for the Eagles to have a chance.
Well, it is, because of the pressure they put on you. Nice, what a shot.
Back-to-back triples. Burmeister, now Oliver, and Washington has the lead.
That quickly.
Huskies,
and that was a draw. There we go.
Adrian Oliver, the freshman, with a move usually displayed by an experienced player. Great emotion now being shown by the Huskies, who are 3 of 5 beyond the 3-point arc.
Yeah, if they're going to shoot like that from the outside, it's going to be tough for the Eagles to hang with them, because they had the inside game.
Burmeister inside to Pondexter, fouled by Budarak, and he'll go to the free throw line. The Eastern Washington bench erupted because they thought it was a shot block.
Well, he had a hand on the ball, but there was a lot of area there that could have taken the contact.
Pondexter against Sacramento State helped the Huskies return from a 13-point deficit. After the game, we interviewed him for FSN Live, and there's Roscoe and Doris, his mom and dad, up from California, from Fresno, and Quincy was all yes sir, just as polite as could be. And when we were done with the interview, he leaned over and looked at the camera and leaned into the microphone and said, "I love you, Mom."
Great young man.
Pondexter expands the Washington lead. He has a half a dozen points.
And there you can see that overplay, the pressure. That's why they need that skip pass that you were talking about, because they are going to put pressure on the ball and pressure on the next pass.
Phil Nelson trying to make it 3 3-point shots in a row for Washington. And now look at Pondexter bothering Budarak, who finds Cram to break the press. Oliver up tight on Stuckey.
There's your skip pass.
Panicello, the sophomore from Moscow, Idaho, can't get it to fall, and Washington has possession of the basketball with 8 minutes and change remaining.
This is an important time in the game now for the Eagles, because they've been very aggressive. Now they've missed a couple shots. This is when you really got to maintain your aggression and stay with it.
Burns told us during the week that if you're going to run half-court offense, if you're going to run patterns on Washington, you need to be flawless. We saw in here last Sunday, Pondexter turns around and scores over Panicello. He's got 10.
But he and Hawes must work on that play. That's a turnaround fade jump shot.
Look at that. Stuckey threading the needle between Appleby and Burmeister, gets into the painted area and knocks one down. He has 10 points.
See, that's where it's good to have a player like that, because your team is struggling a little bit. He's not afraid of anything. He's going to come back and get you to build up your whole team's confidence.
Appleby.
They're going back again for another one.
Pondexter posting up Panicello, everything but the finish. Budarak is fouled by Phil Nelson as he comes down with the rebound. 7th team foul against Washington. Eastern Washington will be shooting down 4 with 7 and change remaining in the first half. Yeah. Right on. Yep, got him. Yep, got him.
Seven for 16. 5 for 8.
We see him from the backside. Grant Leap left the University of Washington in 2002 as the Huskies' single season and all-time leading scorer by 3-point percentage. Take a look at his artistry. Leap now with Mike Burns on the staff here at Eastern Washington University. Probably not happy about the fact that his guys right now are 1 of 8 beyond the arc.
No, they've got to make some of those. And again, with the pressure that is applied by Washington on those skip passes, that's great to get those shots. You just have to knock them down. Now, turn has occurred since the last time out. Washington is 5 for 8, and 2 for 3 of those were 3. So they're shooting the basketball very well right now.
Budarak 2 of 4 on Charity. Make it 3 of 5. Patterns his game after Andrei Kirilenko of the Utah Jazz. I think Kirilenko has a little more length and a little more speed, but I kind of see the body type, and he drains both free throws to bring the Eagles back within 2.
He may have more arm length, but I think Budarak is a little taller. But yeah, that's a great guy to model your game after.
Get a little physical in the lane. Penicello falls, but he's the guy who committed the foul. Penicello had 13 points, 9 rebounds in that almost come from behind victory at UNLV. Burmeister looking for Pondexter on the inbounds. There was no possession, so this is not a backcourt violation. Nelson rares and fires, and Phil Nelson, the freshman out of Kaiser, Oregon, is still trying to find his shooting range. He's now 2 of 14 from 3 on this young season. And wow, look at Hinton go to the rack. Marcus Hinton out of Wilson High School in Tacoma, went to Centralia Community College, brings him back into a tie.
Took that one in strong too.
Budarak.
That's going to be a jump because he did touch the ball. Pondexter kept it in his hands. If the ball had come out of his hand as he came down, he could have rebounded it, but that's a jump ball that way.
Possession arrow on the held ball favors Washington. They gave Budarak a block there, so he now needs 1 to tie Chris White for the career block record. Taylor, oh man, Penicello started running the baseline. Taylor fired one inside, said, my bad.
Casper the Ghost was open in the corner, but he didn't catch it.
Not too friendly. Maybe he's still hungover from his Thanksgiving dinner. Got a little food coma going. Hope you had a great one, by the way. Brockman intercepted by Budarak.
Yeah, that was they are also fronting the post, trying to make it difficult to get it in there.
Hey, he puts Pondexter to sleep. Takes 1 half step inside, then rears up and fires, and the Eagles now have scored the game's last 9 points.
That's going to change here. You know, we talked about, hey, things are going bad. Find somebody that can make something happen. Denman's that guy.
Hinton commits his 2nd personal and puts Justin Dentman on the free throw line. Dentman, 11 out of 12. Now, one thing, people talk about the post, they talk about the freshmen, they talk about the post pairing of Brockman and Haas. And sometimes I think this sophomore from Carbondale, Illinois, gets a little bit overlooked in the mix. You know, he and Brockman both started all but 1 game last year when Washington ran to the NCAA Sweet 16. You cannot discount that kind of experience for a sophomore point guard on a freshman and sophomore dominated team.
Oh, no. It's he's done a great job this year. I think he's really expanded everything that he did last year.
Stuckey bothered by Gasser, then picked up by Pondexter, double team, finds the open man, Cram for 3.
Yeah, I think Brandon Roy is back, but he's wearing red tonight.
And look at Stuckey's size. Gasser blocked by Budarak. That's the record. That ties the record, and then Gasser is called for a foul. Budarak is hurt. They tangled feet as they headed up the other way. Budarak blocked the ball and then went after it. It was a little slow to get up.
Yeah, good block there. Couldn't see if there was any contact, but Gasser went down, and then Budarak fell right over him, and I couldn't see how he landed on the floor. He said, "I'm okay, the wood broke my fall."
Chris White played at Eastern from 1998 to 2000, and he now has company and will soon be passed up by Budarak. Half a dozen players have missed, well, 3 each game, Budarak being one of them. Burns had a little disciplinary issue with his team. He suspended 6 guys for 1 game each, so Budarak might have already been atop the record book had he not sat that 1 game.
That's right. They've got a great family thing going here with that team, and but with a family comes obligation, discipline, and takes a lot for a coach to say, "Hey, you guys are going to miss a game for a what would in the NBA would be considered a minor infraction." Nobody had to be bailed out or anything, but just to missed Kerfoot by a little bit, and so it's a learning experience.
Budarak has 10 points. That is his season average, and tonight this 50% free throw shooter is 6 of 8 from the line. Dentman puts on the brakes, gives Cram a couple of cents change, and a traveling violation inside.
I can't tell you how impressed I am with Budarak. I love his game. He does a lot of things for this team.
Lorenzo Romar trying to get Washington into the NCAA tournament for the 4th consecutive year. 10 of 11 games to start the season, save for the match next week at Gonzaga. At home, Dentman draws the offensive foul. Cram is charged.
See how much defense he's putting on him and pressure, and that's when, as a player, you can't. There's times you say, "Hey, they won't let me run the offense." That's when you got to burn him. You got to just take it to the hole when he's putting that much pressure on you, because if you still just try and get from A to B and run your offense, they're taking you out of that. But you have to punish him because of it.
Dentman looking for Appleby. Now Pondexter drags Penincello out, now looking for the rub from Haas. Little high-low game. The finish is low to Brockman.
That was great defense by the Eagles. They were keeping the ball out of the post, but it was even better adjustments by Washington. They said, "Okay, we'll take it somewhere else." Brockman steps in, and of course, Haas, being a great passing big man, gets it right on the money.
Appleby commits the foul, the 9th team foul. Next one will give Eastern 2 free throws for every common foul. Michael Taylor, 6'4", 190 pounds, freshman from Brewster, Washington, over near Chelan. That team in Class 1A, they won 2 state championships and then finished second 2 years in a row. I think both times to Bellevue Christian. He played with David Pendergraft, now at Gonzaga. That's a pretty good team right there.
I'll tell you, it's amazing how much talent's in this state. That's the 3rd one on Haas.
And he and Budarak have got a little something going inside. Haas will have to sit. 10th Washington turnover.
But Budarak he's all over the place. He is fronting Haas every chance he gets. And when that happens, what you do is you spread your arms out, and he inadvertently caught him in the mouth with an elbow, and that's his 3rd foul.
They're going to classify that as an offensive foul. So it will not put the Eagles on the line. Stuckey once again charges hard, backs up, and scores from 3. The dude is the real deal. He is the real deal.
He is not shooting 37% tonight, I'll tell you that. and he's against a great defender in Pondexter, so he's really showing something.
16 points. Plays for the steal. Dentman nearly carried. Oliver looking for Wallace. Pondexter, good ball movement, but Penincello was there, and Stuckey comes away, and now who's going to get the call? Dentman is charged. Eagles are giving the Huskies all they can handle, leading by 9. Brockman notwithstanding. When Spencer Hawes went to the bench, he checked his elbow for blood. It turned out it was Paul Budarak's blood. He got a hard shot to the chops, and he's on the bench right now with a nasty looking cut.
Yeah, you see him throwing his arm out. Budarak's been jumping in front of him all night, so he's just trying to expand his area. You know, Budarak got him out on foul trouble, but unfortunately he's out too, trying to stop that bleeding.
In hockey, they call that taking the hit to make the play. Meantime, back at the ranch, Brian Davis and Bob Weiss, by the way, on the campus of the University of Washington, where in the last 3 minutes and 12 seconds now with Stuckey's first free throw, Eastern has outscored the UW 20-4. 20-4 over the last 3 minutes and 12 seconds.
Well,
make it 21.
You know, I had told you that at one point there, this is an important part of the game. Are they going to be able to maintain their intensity? They sure have.
Stuckey with 18 points, 6 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 4 from 3, 4 of 4 on charity, and 3 rebounds. Not a bad line. Oliver spins. Nice move in traffic to break the Eastern run. 5 points for Oliver, the freshman.
Great job defensively by the Eagles in making it break down. The trouble is Oliver is the kind of player that can go and get you one when everything breaks down.
Shows and goes. Stuckey will go to the free throw line. Brockman is called for the foul, and Stuckey is putting on a tremendous performance here in the first half.
Watch the poise here. He's going to go in. Brockman gets there. He jumps to the left. Jumps to our left as we're looking at it. He jumped to his right to avoid. If he had just kept going, it would have been a charge. But he kind of jumped around him. He made Brockman lean just a little bit to catch up with him.
Stuckey at 21 points. Foul trouble. Haas with 3. Brockman with 2. Gasser with 2. Oliver was looking inside, thought Dentman would come for it, and he did not. So now with a 12-point lead.
I think he was a little too unselfish there. You know, last play they pushed him out of their offense. He went and got a little jump shot. Oh, Dentman does it again.
Yeah, gets the offensive foul called on Taylor.
And then going back to that last play, I thought, you know, he had another opportunity. Go ahead, just get you a clean 15-footer, but he tried to go inside when there really was no play there.
18 fouls now on Eastern. It has been a very physical basketball game. Washington has committed 10 turnovers now or more in the first half of every one of its now 5 games.
Yeah, they've really got to cut down on that.
Oliver. Brockman looking for help. Defense collapsing nicely for Eastern Washington. Bullet pass inside. Pondexter finds Brockman for the basket.
That could have been a 3-point play too. I thought he might have got hit on the shoulder.
Brockman misses the steal. Risper cleans it up. Williams can't finish, and Brockman has himself another rebound. That's 3 for Brockman, 14 for Washington. Dentman over Rhett Humphrey, misses. Got a clear out underneath, and Pondexter will go to the free throw line.
You can really tell when Stuckey and Budarak are not in that ball game.
9 team fouls on the Eagles.
Washington started out moving the ball well and shooting the ball well, but turnovers have helped derail them. The other thing, though, give Eastern Washington credit. They have run some of the stuff that Burns said they needed to have a chance to win. Protect the basketball, rebound. And the other thing, though, he knows Washington will make a run. So later on, he figures the Eagles are going to have to weather the storm.
Oh, you always have to with a team like this. They're so deep, too. You know, Stuckey goes out, and things can get out of hand very quickly. UW can bring in subs, and they can make some stuff happen on you. So,
well, Stuckey and Budarak together, 9 of 12 for 31 points. And Stuckey with an NBA plus three-pointer.
Yeah, the clock was running down. He didn't feel comfortable. Had to take a long one.
Dentman, a little bit strong. Hinton comes up with the rebound, and now he's in the trees. They're going to double team, and Pondexter lets him go now. Oliver goes to pick up his man on the near side of the floor. Taylor. Stuckey loses control. Dentman looking for Oliver on the weak side, but Pondexter down the lane. Oliver tipping the rebound. Washington gets a fresh 35. Oliver into the lane, and he is fouled.
Dentman's turning into the defensive ace tonight. He's drawn 2 charges so far and then got that steal from Stuckey. Here he comes in. Stuckey kind of lost that ball on the way up, and Dentman takes advantage of the bobble.
10 turnovers now as Eastern has started to give it up a little bit more. Washington more in control in terms of valuing the basketball, but they got some ground to make up, trailing by 8 with 1:14 remaining in the first half.
Well, 58% shooting, that's hard to keep up with.
Tune in tonight for FSN Live. We'll wrap up all the action from this game, plus the Sonics post-game with Kevin Calabro and the Hall of Famer Lenny Wilkins. Highlights from the 110th Civil War, a thriller. Oregon State outlasting Oregon. You saw that one right here on the network. FSN Live tonight at 10 only on FSN. Eastern Washington came to Seattle in Lorenzo Romar's first year and won the basketball game. Since then, Romar has put together 3 consecutive victories. Adrian Oliver helps to close the gap here late in the first half, but again, Rodney Stuckey has put on a clinic. Washington has failed to value the basketball the way the coaches would like them to, and the Eagles have built themselves what is now a 6-point lead.
It's been a fun game to watch. Well coached by both ends.
Eastern led by 12 in the mid-late stages here in the first half. Let's go back to being nearly flawless. That's what Burns says you need to be if you're going to run half-court offense on the University of Washington. Oliver tied up on Taylor and blocks the shot. Dentman. Could be a little showtime. Great finish. Protected the basketball from Stuckey and takes it all the way to the rack.
That's great defense by Oliver. Covers his man, blocks his own. It's hard to block your own man's shot. Most of the shots that are blocked are big men getting someone else driving. But to block your own guy's shot, you really got to be in great position.
Shot clock is off. Eagles will play for one more. Now here comes the trap. Skip past Taylor. Finds Stuckey alone. Puts it on the floor. Maneuvers around Pondexter, but the freshman Pondexter did a great job of getting in the way. At the buzzer, Oliver! Held it! Well, alrighty then.
that takes the air out of you.
Sometimes they do go in. Adrian Oliver suddenly with 10 points. Washington with a couple of guys in double figures to offset Stuckey's 21 in the first half. Washington outscores the Eagles the last 11 points of the first half to get within 1. College basketball and FSN is brought to you by Dodge. Grab life by the horns. Adrian Oliver grabbed the opportunity to beat the buzzer. They should have given him 6 points for the shot that he hit to close that 11-point run to finish the first half. Take another look. The referees looked at our shot of this, just to the near side of the half line. Good, with 0.2 of a second left. It left his hands.
What a game this guy's had. And who's your leading rebounder for the game for the Huskies? With 7, it's Adrian Oliver.
Oliver with 10 points on 3 of 5 shooting, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Nice all-around game. Now, Oliver will start the second half in place of Ryan Appleby. Paul Budarak injured and is taking stitches in his lower lip. And so Brandon Moore, the redshirt freshman out of Bethel High School, is in the lineup for Eastern to start the second half here at the Bank of America Arena. Spencer Haas posting up more, playing with 3 fouls. Tip drill. Pondexter can't finish. And on the scramble underneath.
Good defense on Haas. They got him in that position where he couldn't use the glass. He was just a little too far to the baseline, tried to shoot it straight in, missed, and there's Pondexter on the boards.
Stuckey assessed his second personal foul in the scramble, sending Pondexter to the line.
And I don't know if you noticed it there, but you saw Brockman was almost out of bounds. That means they were blocking him out, opening up the lane for Pondexter to come in and get that rebound.
Now, if you look in the back, as Pondexter hits his second and gives the Huskies a lead. 13 unanswered points now for Washington. Stuckey puts it on the floor, works past Pondexter, though it was firing into the trees. Offensive rebound, and the finish for Derek Risper.
Little hustle points by the Eagles coming back.
Risper's first of the afternoon. This senior out of Moreno Valley, California. Brockman, the 9th lead change of the afternoon.
I think Coach Burns is going to send somebody in there to hurry up. That doctor's doing the stitching. They need Budarak out there for his defense.
Between Budarak and Stuckey, that was quite a combination, inside and outside. Without Budarak, the Eagles have to go small.
And of course, Coach Romar, he's going into Haas. He sees that.
Pondexter, by the way, now in 5 games as a collegiate has been in double figures scoring, 4 of them. Now off the ball, before they even get going. They're going to put that on Pondexter. They are. It's 2 on Pondexter. Now, one thing that Eastern took advantage of is they got to the free throw line 13 of 15 in the first half because Washington got into early foul trouble. Risper a little bit long, trying to fire it over the 7-footer Haas.
Yeah, he should have realized who he was trying to post up. That was not a good. My money was on Haas.
Brockman was looking for Pondexter. Dentman found it and fires for 3. Another offensive rebound, and Spencer Haas will go to the free throw line.
And their length is just killing the Eagles right now. They're getting second shot after second shot.
Moore averaging 10 points a game. Had 23 points and 8 rebounds against Evergreen State. 8 of 10 from the floor against Evergreen State. 7 of 11 on Charity. Haas just a little bit long. The Evergreen State Gooey Ducks. God bless them. Takes courage to name your team the Gooey Ducks. Stuckey outside the line. Count it. He is 3 of 7 beyond the arc and traveling.
A little shuffle on the feet just before he took off.
12 turnovers now. Washington kind of settled down the latter half of the first half. Need to protect the basketball. Omar Graham up the floor. high school pal back in Modesto, California, of Adrian Oliver. And Stuckey, my goodness.
I think he's feeling it. That is such a tough move to defend. When he penetrates and then you have that step back and it still can get a nice shot off.
Oh, look at all the room that Oliver has. Taylor a little bit late. Adrian Oliver. Everything he's got now, because this is only his 5th game as a collegian, everything he's got is a season and career high. 12 points for Oliver. And one thing that Washington defensively has not pushed Eastern out as far as the Huskies usually push their opponents.
Now they've been able to swing the ball back and forth. Not easily, but they're getting it every once in a while the way they want to.
Out of bounds, the long shot falls away. Possession, Washington. Mike Burns. Western Washington guy. There's Omar Cram.
He's going to try and go with a little more height here. He's been getting beat on the boards. Put in a player just a little bigger. Going to have to defend. He's taking Pondexter.
Detman looking for a rub from Haas. Oliver looking inside but away from the play. Risper is called for a personal foul, and that is 4 team fouls against Washington. Eastern, rather. Brockman. Risper is popped as he comes off the glass. Got poked in the eye, but finishes the play. Boy, away from the ball, we're seeing an awful lot of action going on.
Well, you defended a guy like Stuckey. Stuckey, excuse me. You don't want him to get the ball. You try and get physical with him, but he's got Pondexter's picked up 2 fouls now off the ball. So now, all of a sudden, he's got 3 fouls. He is no longer guarding Stuckey. Oliver says, I'm up to the task.
Brockman was on his way. Remember, against Sacramento State last Sunday, Brockman grabbed the rebound and went coast to coast to score, but Risper makes contact as they get.
Not only score, but it was a tomahawk dunk.
Oh, man, that was just a thing of beauty if you're a Huskies fan. Risper, Mike Burns said he has got to be a presence inside, and he hasn't really been. Now Oliver fakes Stuckey off the floor, gets a good look, but it won't fall. But another offensive rebound for Washington, and Denman from a tough angle.
Washington's got so many ways to come at you.
Graham, and it needs some spacing here, fellas, and Stuckey is going to be called for an offensive foul. That's 3 against him.
And Oliver is doing it all. He's having his best game offensively. He's made some big rebounds. He's made some big defensive plays now. He's doing it.
Take a look underneath. They'll come right into your lazy boy. That will limit Stuckey's effectiveness. A game-high 26 points, and I'm talking about a game-high by a fur piece. Oliver, though, very poised.
And Stuckey's not going to be able to sit over there very long. Got to buy him a couple minutes.
Denman delays, drives, and scores. Justin Denman has a couple of quick baskets. He has 8 for Washington. And the Huskies are back on the high side.
I think they're going to have trouble getting a good shot now.
Three-point basket. Moore bats it right to Gasser. That's it. With Budarak getting stitches in his mouth. Look at Oliver, the spin move, then the dart across the lane. No, player control foul. The basket will not count. Detman will be charged with the personal.
We'll see the play again right here. Oh.
Well, that was the one
good play by Denman.
That's the one he finished.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. What was, you gave me something on.
No, it did not.
No.
Okay.
You know, one other thing that I think favors Washington, they're moving the basketball better. You know, Eastern only has 4 assists on 18.
Fans, you can now watch the replays of all
Doris Pondexter.
basketball games on GoHuskies.com All Access. That's the Dog Channel All Access. The games will be available for viewing starting at noon each Wednesday following that week's games. To sign up for Dog Channel All Access or for more information, just visit GoHuskies.com.
Ball better. You know, Eastern only offensive foul against Justin Dentman. Kind of slows down the momentum that Adrian Oliver has helped to build for Washington.
He's under such poise when he gets his. He's able to go in when he gathers himself. There he's drawn on defense. He is all over the place, along with the 7 rebounds we already talked about.
Oliver and Washington's freshman, 32 points, 16 rebounds, 8 assists, 8 of 10 from the free throw line. Now a little bit of pressure that the Huskies apply selectively, and Dentman hustling, can't save it, takes 10 seconds off the shot clock, and now Ryan Appleby onto the floor. Appleby struggled in the first half. 1 out of 3. How many minutes did he play, Bob, in the first half? Appleby played
10.
Oliver on this late afternoon, early evening at the B of A has been a little more effective. Although Appleby will give you a defensive presence, if you can get other guys to score, that'll count for something down the stretch here. Shot clock dangerously low, and well, never mind.
Coach Burns is not going to be able to have Stuckey sit out very long. Stuckey's got to get in there. They've got no offense when he's not. You can see by the you look at the stat sheet, Stuckey's got 26 points. The team only has 3 assists. That's because he is the one creating the offense, and occasionally he'll kick it out if he has to, but he's been getting all the way to the hoop, so he hasn't had, or he's gotten a good shot.
Not exactly the cavalry, but Paul Budarak is back and waiting to check in, and you can see that's not a dip. He's not dipping. He's got a fat lip from the elbow he took from Spencer Hawes in the first half. Budarak had a little repair work done, stitches, and gamely returns to the Eastern Washington lineup.
Well, hopefully for the Eagles, Budarak will help cut down on the second shot attempts by Washington.
Wow, kind of nasty looking. You don't think that stings a little bit, Burmeister? Huskies working in very tight spaces here. Appleby left alone, though. The forgotten man, Budarak, has the rebound. 7 for Budarak, and at the other end, Hinton.
He makes a difference right away. Quick rebound, a high rebound, good kick out, fast break point.
Hinton is a guy to watch, by the way. Coming into this ball game, he had taken more free throws than field goal attempts. So if you're looking for some business inside, Hinton out of Tacoma can get it done for you, and Hawes and the Huskies turn it over again. We have indeed been on the seesaw. Graham starting some pretty good basketball movement here as the Eagles swing it around, and Taylor is going to go to the rack and score over Appleby.
Nice shot. I tell you, Coach Burns he's holding his breath for 30 seconds every time he comes out on offense.
Look at Denton go after the basket, followed his own shot through Haas to Gasser, and you can count that. Great hustling basketball by the University of Washington.
He willed that one in.
Oh, Appleby may have gotten a piece of that ball, but could have been a foul
Could
too.
have been a foul behind.
Oh, look at that.
But see, that's where the lack of confidence comes in. When he caught that ball, he was wide open, and he didn't want to take the shot yet.
Dentman along the baseline from pretty much where he knocked the other one down a little while ago, and now 10 points for Dentman.
Yeah, he's got that spot over there. He wants to run over to the K and shoot it.
Most of Dentman's have come this half.
Oh,
Williams
dodged the bullet there.
Haas gonna post up Budarak. Oh, man.
Almost got it to go. That was a tough angle to bank, but he shot it as softly as he could.
Well, and Taylor came to swat it away. Here's Hinton, a little bit long. Gasser's rebound, and Budarak is going to be called for the push. Referee was going to let it go to see if Gasser was able to start the break, but when he fell.
Oh, you got to call that one. That was a
second personal against Budarak, who again in the first half tied Chris White's all-time Eastern Washington record for blocked shots.
Yeah, he's gonna set a new high water mark on that. And Coach Burns just put his offense back in.
Stuckey, Williams, Taylor, Budarak, and Cram. Hans Gasser gives the Huskies about 13 minutes a game. We're going to talk about role players, and we've been into this conversation before, Bob. There is not a guy on the bench for Washington who cannot do something for you.
No, they're deep, and they showed it again tonight. It's always different people coming out and helping you. But they're going to have a good test tonight.
Now Oliver assigned to Stuckey. Williams on the show and go, swings it over to Cram, and he won't pay it off. Gasser with another rebound. Hans Gasser suddenly off the defensive glass has been a help to the Huskies, looking to expand this lead to, well, 4 is the most we've seen in a while already.
Well, if the Eagles are going to stay in this game, they need, the support players have got to make some of these three-point shots.
Gasser blocked by Budarak. There is the Eastern Washington all-time career record for blocks. At the other end, Stuckey. Suddenly, Eastern Washington is having a little trouble finding the range.
Well, Stuckey's been out of the game for quite a while. I think he's going to find the range on this one.
Well, look at that, though.
Nice
finds
pass.
Budarak back door. Appleby fouls him as he goes up. Great vision by Rodney Stuckey. A very unselfish play. Will put his teammate on the line, and Budarak 6 of 8 on Charity. Eastern creating some offense with defense within 4 mid-second half. Spencer Haas looks like he's going to come back into the basketball game. How about the shoot that he did? Yeah, maybe he'll get back on the pine. Look at that. They had to make the uniform for him. They did not have a vintage Huskies uniform that would fit Spencer Haas, so they modeled it after Bob Hubricks, the UW All-American who took the Huskies to the Final Four. The only man, that was back in 1953, the only retired number in the history of this program. And you don't think, Brockman and Appleby are on the cover of Sports Illustrated this week? Well, they shot the Haas thing at the other end. You don't think Brockman and Appleby had a little fun with Spencer Haas?
Well, I noticed he was kneeling down, so you couldn't see those short shorts as well as if he's standing up.
Spencer tells us, yeah, he's heard a lot about it. Most of it, people sticking the needle in. That back in the day, well, we went through a period where guys' hair was longer than their shorts, but that goes back even farther. to the era of Hubriggs. But, you know, in some ways, Haas is a throwback player, and in some ways, guys in Hubriggs' era never dreamed of being able to do some of the things that Spencer Haas can do.
No, he's a all-around player,
You know,
and a good one.
Washington has had some terrific big men going back to the middle 50s. Bruno Boyne, Seattle high school star who played here at the U, is still in the top 10 all-time in scoring. Appleby launching with 3 seconds to shoot, and Ryan's having a little trouble finding the range. 1 of 4, all from 3. Williams will go to the line with a chance for a three-point play that would put the Eagles back into the lead.
And that's what's turned around a little bit down there. They're making him miss. They're getting the rebound, and then they're running up and getting easy buckets.
Now, he was at Franklin High School. He was a 4A champion with Aaron Brooks, who's now at Oregon. In the championship game, they beat Meade High School of Spokane that had some guy named Morrison on the team. Mike Burns says that Williams is my Swiss Army knife. One day is a spoon, next day is a fork, next day is a screwdriver. Taylor can't open the can there. Brockman with his 4th rebound. Washington off the glass has an advantage of 11. And he'll go to the free throw line. Willie, was that a shooting? Yes, it was a shooting foul.
I think we're into the one-on-one probably.
Well, as a matter of fact, 8th team foul now. So they're very close to putting Washington into the Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Brockman fouled out of the Northern Iowa game, the championship game of the Basketball Travelers Classic, as Budarak takes a seat. The other games that Brockman has played: 13 points, 9 rebounds, 12 and 10, 25 and 12 to start the season against Pepperdine. Misses that one, and we remain tied. On the run out, Williams is going to go to the free throw line. Denton thought he had the clean block. No, says the official.
And that's 2 rebounds in a row where Stuckey got the rebound and makes it pass for a well, he got a 3-point play last time, and this time a breakaway layup. But he's got to shoot the free throws to earn it.
He's trying to be the corkscrew there. Splitting a couple of defenders.
Williams misses the first.
Not good form there. No lift in his legs. A game of runs. Now, Stuckey hasn't scored in the last 8 minutes.
No, but he made a difference once he came in this ball game with the rebounding and then just getting other people involved. And it won't be long before he does score, I'm sure.
Washington had a 12-point run. Eastern Washington countered with a 9-point run. Then the Huskies scored the last 11 of the first half, including a shot from beyond half court by Oliver as time expired, and Stuckey jump stops and scores over Denton. We talk about how he hasn't scored, and I think he hurt us up here. 28 points. Pondexter's shot rebounded twice by Brockman, and John Brockman, he's not happy that he couldn't finish and give himself a chance for a 3-point play, but he will shoot 2 from the line.
And again, it's, you know, Budarak leaves the game, all of a sudden they start getting these second shots up. Great hustle by Brockman. Can't take anything away from him.
Washington has 14 offensive rebounds. Wait. Now, come on. The fans are out here getting a little grumpy. Give the guy a break, for goodness sake. But you know Romar wants to see those go in.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know who wants to see him go in the most? John.
No doubt about it. See, now Washington 12 of 16 from the free throw line. Eastern Washington 16 of 20. The Eagles have outscored every one of their first 4 opponents at the free throw line. They've taken more free throws than the other guy in every game. And so far tonight that has held. Brockman splits the difference. Cram can't get the finish. May have been blocked by his old buddy Oliver. They both are from Modesto, California. They never played together on a school team, but I think they played some summer ball together and certainly playground ball.
Well, that shot, he couldn't even see the hoop with Haas where he was.
Oh, look at that. Fade away, the step back. Risper. Burns said had to be a presence inside. Graham leaves and through Williams. Stuckey fires. Almost too unselfish there. Bob, what'd you think? Graham had a great look.
Yeah, he did, but you know, getting the ball to Stuckey's never a bad option.
But Graham's a 46% three-point shooter.
Yeah,
I will post you up, says Haas, but Risper got enough of him in terms of obstruction to alter the shot. We're going the other way.
And they do need other people rather than Stuckey to make every shot. So, you know, if you're a good shooter, you get an open shot, take it.
Denton with a little jersey pull on Graham. Williams floating for Risper. Brockman thought he got the ball, but he didn't. He got Risper, and John Brockman now has 3 personal fouls. Arden Wallace will come get him.
Great execution here, too. Watch the seal underneath. Good seal. Nice pass. Forces you to foul and keep away from the layup. Good execution by the Eagles. I'm impressed with this team. They're playing hard. They've got some good talent. Nice club. They're going to win a lot of games this year.
15 and 15 last year. 9 and 5. Third in the Big Sky. Here comes Budarak.
And if you notice, whenever they make substitutions now, they're keeping either Budarak or Stuckey in the game.
Risper, Williams, Budarak, Graham, and Hinton on the floor. A lot of Western Washington guys. Been a very physical ball game. Haas 4 of 8, posting up Risper again. Nice move, and he just feathers that one down. That's the stuff that they didn't imagine big guys could do back in Bob Hubrecht's day.
There was nothing you could have done better on defense there. Kept great position, made him take a tremendously tough shot. He just threw it in the hole.
Graham's miss, Oliver's rebound. Dentman coast to coast, finding Haas inside, held ball. Possession arrow favors Eastern Washington as Hinton ties up Haas. Detman, Haas, Gasser, Pondexter, Brockman with 3 for Washington. Stuckey, Penincello, and Budarak with 3 fouls each for Eastern Washington. Eastern committed a lot of turnovers at UNLV, but closed with an 18-3 run to tie the ball game, only to fall by 3. Graham from 3.
That's what they're going to need. Again, that was a set play. Nice pick by Budarak. Great timing and swinging of the ball by the rest of the guys, and he knew how to finish it.
5-point lead. Dentman cuts it to 3 with a nice little runner into the lane. Justin Dentman has a dozen points.
Denman does a really nice job, but when you need a bucket, he comes down to make something happen, whether it's drawing for a foul or just driving and getting a good shot on his own.
Graham makes a move on Dentman, but Dentman gets the rebound. Graham is short. Oliver, great read for Haas. Tremendous pass inside from the freshman.
Haas clogs it up in the one end, runs down, makes a layup on the other.
Wallace working on Budarak. Time is taken by Mike Burns as the bucket by Haas makes him the 4th Husky with 12 points. And Washington back within a stick man as we get late. 10,000 on hand at the Bank of America Arena on the campus of the University of Washington. Welcome in college basketball on FSN along with the coach Bob Weiss. I'm Brian Davis. Boy, we've had some dandy football and basketball on the network. The Apple Cup last week, Washington's thrilling victory at Washington State. And the Sonics with victories this week against New Jersey at home and over the Clippers at Los Angeles. The Civil War today. Oregon State with a tremendous run to an 8-4 finish on the season. Congratulations to Mike Riley and the Beavers as they outlast Oregon. We've got a dandy going here, and that one nearly went in off the tip as Haas. Cram, great read inside. Cram coming from the backside and scores. making it a 3-point Eastern Washington lead.
Yeah, they just fell asleep right there.
Oliver looking for Dentman to the edge of the lane.
Dentman got a call there. Leaned in. Caused all the contact, but he got it.
Look at Cram's reaction. Yeah, I forgot Oregon State's playing 13 this year.
Champ said I fouled him with my chin.
Yeah.
Fouled his elbow with his chin.
Oregon State. Jay John and the Beavers basketball team making it a double dip for Oregon State today. Narrow victory over Northern Colorado. Dentman with 13 points. Brockman back onto the floor for the University of Washington, and Dentman here a 5 of 10 from the floor and perfect on charity. He's playing with 3 fouls. He's got 4 rebounds, only 2 assists today. Washington 13 assists on 27 made baskets, 9 assists for Eastern on 25 field goals. Distribution's been tough for both sides today. Budarak working outside on Haas. Off the scramble, Stuckey commits his 4th personal foul.
And what defense by Adrian Oliver.
There's one reason why
he's
Stuckey
trying to force that in there, but he creates a loose ball, dives on the floor.
And that's a good call.
He's doing everything today.
Stuckey had 21 points in the first half, 7 of 12 from the floor, 5 of 5 from the free throw line. 7 points here in the second half, 3 of 8, and he has not gotten to the line.
Coach Romar mentioned Oliver's defense early in the year. I had never seen him play enough. He doesn't look like one of those guys that will go out and just shut you down, but he is a tenacious player. He has a good feel of where to be. He's got great hands, and you can see that in his rebounding too. Doesn't have the physique to be a great rebounder, but he's leading the club tonight with 8.
Taking advantage of some of those long rebounds that you'll get, and he bricks both those. He's 4-6. Washington has struggled tonight at the line. It is a 71% free throw shooting team. Not great. Not what you want it to be if you're Romar.
What a break they got there. Eagles ran a play to get wide open for a 3. They turned it over for quick 2.
This half, Washington is 7 of 14 from the free throw line. Eastern 5 of 7, but now the Huskies have that lead.
Coach Burns may have to take a timeout here if things don't go right.
Cram off a nice right from Penincello for 3.
That was big because this crowd was just getting into it. If they'd have got to stop at another score, this place would have gone nuts.
Cram is hit with his 4th personal foul. 15 lead changes.
His teammates are trying to console him there. That's two pretty good plays he just made defensively, and he got called for fouls on both of them. Didn't stop it at the other end, though.
He's got 2 big threes this half, and we mentioned he's almost 50-50 from beyond the arc.
Right. If I was him and I was playing with Stuckey, I'd never go inside that 3-point line. Draw a double team, kick it. I'll be right over here.
We'll be waiting for you. Dentman suddenly 17 points. Most of those here in the second half. Rodney Stuckey came into the ball game averaging 26 points a game. Had 25 at UNLV, and he was in foul trouble. Penincello just left a little bit of room. Can't get the finish. Arlen Wallace with the rebound. Nice pass. Brockman will go to the free throw line, and Budarak not happy about that. He has now 4 personals. A valiant effort by Paul Budarak, the senior out of Medical Lake. Brockman will
see it again. You know, that's a questionable call. He gets the ball, and then with his he blocked the ball. Then with his follow through, he came down and definitely got hands. So I'm not sure how you call that one.
Kellen Williams will come get. I think he's going to get Budarak because they're going to need the big guy down the stretch.
Well, the trouble is, this is a stretch, so he's not going to be able to sit out very long. Probably about another minute and a half, maybe.
We give a little love to Mike Burns, though, the coaching staff.
Oh, what a job they've done tonight.
Washington. Burns served under Ray Giacoletti, then spent a year with Dick Bennett at Washington State. And he has clearly brought a lot of game to the Eagles equation. Now the free throws give the Huskies a 2-point lead, but we haven't seen a lead larger than 5. Boy, since just about forever ago. At one point, Eastern Washington did lead this ball game by as many as 12 points.
Yeah, they've done a great job. Washington is showing a lot of poise not to let them just run away with it. They're back in it. Now they got the lead, so it's going to be a fun 4.5 minutes.
Let's talk about Mike Burns as a symbol of the emergence of basketball in Washington State. You asked him the other day about the increase in the quality of Washington basketball, and he said, look, go back 20-30 years when Central was playing in the NAIA and UPS, Puget Sound, was playing Division II. He said those could have been the best programs in the country at their level. So he says there have always been great players, but this part of the world was somewhat under-recruited, and guys left, and now guys are staying home, and we've seen the results all over the state.
Well, they're seeing good programs. They're seeing good basketball, the styles. I mean, you know, what kid wouldn't want to go and play with the Eagles right now? And he likes to recruit local people. He knows there's great talent in Washington, and that's what he's aiming at. But, you know, you got programs like the Huskies and the Eagles, and the state's just full of good programs right now. And they're keeping the local talent a little better.
Your Honor, Exhibit A.
We're preaching to the choir.
Washington looking for a stop. Eastern looking.
And they're going with a zone. Going with a zone, and after the first pass, they're matching up to a man-to-man.
You got to figure they're looking for Stuckey, but Taylor, the freshman, will go and will draw a foul on John Brockman. His 4th.
Nice job of forcing the play there. Michael Taylor just took it to him and kept taking it to him until he got made him give him the line.
Michael Taylor was the Seattle Times pick as the 1A Player of the Year his final year at Brewster. Well, tough there. Big moment for a freshman whose idols include Pete Maravich and Luke Ridnour. Yeah, you know, if you're Luke getting ready to play the Sacramento Kings, you know you've made it when young guys coming up say they look to you.
I want to be like Lukey. Yep. And what a year he's having.
Right. He has developed a couple wrinkles in his game, and we got to. They're going to give Wallace the foul. They're going to take it off of Brockman, and that's a big break. So John, the sophomore out of Snohomish, with 3. Wallace with 2. Taylor splits the difference. It's a 1-point basketball game with 4 minutes remaining.
And a little zone by the Eagles now.
Well, they do not match up.
Nope.
Good swing. Oliver gets Williams to leave his feet. Pondexter is all alone, a little bit short. Now look at Denton. Say, I'll take that. Thank you very much. Brockman, tough shot is short. Wallace, the tip drill. Oliver, 1 offensive rebound, a 2nd offensive rebound, and a foul is called on Matt Penincello. Oliver will shoot 2 when we come back. Washington with a 1-point lead, 3.5 minutes remaining. What a game.
Left to play. Huskies by 1.
Wow.
It's got to get Budarak back in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you just saw they just touched the ball 7 times right there.
Yeah, that's right. Rebounding, particularly offensive rebounding.
I think what's going on is, can you show that last sequence where they keep getting the ball? Yeah. Okay, Brian ran to the restroom. Okay. He's back. We're going to show the rebounding.
Excellent. Yeah. I'll do it right now. Sonics and Kings to follow here on FSN. Washington gets a third of its rebounds at the offensive end. 17 out of 43 tonight.
Right, and I bet you about 13 of them have been when Budarak's out of the game. You'll see here, they just got one. Now they get a hand on another one. They get a hand on another one. They finally get the offensive rebound. And who else but their game-leading rebounder, king of the boards, Oliver.
You see Budarak back in the game down the corner on the far side of the free throw lane as Oliver knocks another one down. He is 3 out of 5 on charity. Washington has not turned the ball over since the 8-minute mark of the second half. Only 5 in the second half. Budarak has 14 points and 8 rebounds. To your point about needing his long physical presence.
Right, and Coach Burns would sure like to go a little longer with him having 4 fouls, but he realizes I got to get him in the game or the game's going to be over.
Stuckey can't finish.
He got a great look there.
Hasn't scored in the longest time. Only 7 points in the second half. Part of that is that he's just lost his touch a little bit. He has had some decent looks, but hasn't been able to get the ball to go down. And now Washington looking to make this a 2-score basketball game.
Oh, they're in their zone again. They almost didn't get over to Denton in time.
Nice closeout by Cram, but his old buddy from California.
That was good defense.
Yeah, Oliver.
Very rare do you see Oliver stuck for a shot. That shot was down. He needed to take that one. Usually he creates a wide open 17-footer at least. Good defense on him that time.
Had it not gone out of bounds, it would have been a shot clock violation. Eastern now with Stuckey on the floor with 4 fouls. Budarak on the floor with 4 fouls. Cram on the floor with 4 personal fouls. Cram off the pick and roll through the hands of Risper.
And this has been their Achilles heel. In the Las Vegas game, they had a good chance to win it. Turnovers killed them. You just can't make any turnovers in the last 3 minutes of a ball game with a good team.
Last 2.5 minutes, Washington has outscored the Eagles 10-4. Brockman back to the elbow. They have not been able to work their bigs in that spot. Dentman says, okay. 21 points for Dentman, and Washington has its largest lead at 6 points. Justin Dentman playing rockabye baby, lulling everybody to sleep and then just firing in the 3-ball.
And this is a hard shot to make. You know, you get it right away, you don't take it. Oh, okay, I'll shoot it. Not many guys do that well.
That's a career high for Dentman now. 21 points.
Done a great job. Got some key turnovers in the first half, drawing fouls defensively.
17 points in the second half.
Yeah, that's big. And again, that's, you know, if you're trying to defend this Washington team, you're just not sure where it's coming from. Anybody can score. And in big numbers.
You've got Oliver, though, in front of your screen. Dentman behind him. Oliver's got 9 rebounds to go along with 14 points and 5 assists. For those of you waiting for a pregame edition of Sonics FSN Live, stick around. We've got a couple minutes left here at the University of Washington. Then we'll kick you to our FSN Live studios and then fire it up for the Sonics and Sacramento Kings tonight at Key Arena.
I wouldn't be surprised if Omar gets a three-point attempt here.
There are the numbers as a team you'd have to argue has more raw talent has turned it on down the stretch. Stuckey for three, misses. Pondexter has the ball knocked away. And Graham is going to go to the free throw line. Dentman got him. That's 4 on Dentman.
Big rebound by Omar. That was almost the end of the ball game right there. If Washington gets it, you're sure running out of time.
Graham has not been to the free throw line tonight. He is 7 of 10 on the season.
And he's in a 1-and-1, so he's got to make this first one.
That was a big one. They might want to, instead of a team bus, they might want ambulances for these guys tonight. They've been hammering each other.
It's been a physical game. I didn't realize eating turkey could make you so aggressive.
Well, Spencer Hawes has had a terrific second half. Got 3 fouls fairly early in this ball game. But Hawes has risen up huge. 14 points.
They're eating a little time. It'll be interesting to see who they go to when they want to go. Okay, they're getting ready. It's guess who?
Dentman.
Ooh, and he slipped on a wet spot.
First Huskies turnover in about 7 minutes.
Yeah, they've really tuned it down this half.
Lorenzo Romar looking to go 3-1 against Eastern Washington. Again, the Eagles came in here and beat him his first year. Defensively, though, he and his staff a great job on Rodney Stuckey, who has not scored for the last 8.5 minutes.
Well, they got another minute and 14 to go.
And he is 10 of 22 from the floor, 3 of 10 from 3. This after a guy who had 28 points. This from a guy who had 28 points.
Yeah, I think sometimes the foul situations kind of took the rhythm away from his game at different points.
So he is 3 of 10 all told in the second half, 1 of 4, and he hasn't gotten to the free throw line.
No, they've done a great job of keeping him outside. I always thought that was the key with him. All these great scorers that shoot 12 free throws and 10 free throws a game, you keep that down, you really negate their effectiveness.
Washington 21 of 28 on charity. Eastern Washington 20 of 26. And for the first time this season, the Eagles have been outshot at the free throw line in terms of attempts. Mike Burns and his guys trying to find a way. Down 5 with the basketball with a minute and change remaining. $10,000 on hand. That is a season high tonight at the Bank of America Arena. Taylor finds Stuckey, has the pass knocked away by Oliver. Taylor picks it up, and Brockman with a big rebound for Washington. Taylor falls on the sword, takes the foul, and puts Justin Dentman on the free throw line. Washington up 5 with less than a minute now remaining in regulation. Dentman is 6 of 6 on charity.
Yeah, that's not the guy you want to foul, I don't think. But you don't have your choice a lot of times.
Dentman has played 30 minutes and adds to his career best of 23 points. Stuckey scores and has a chance to make this a 3-point play. still going to be a 2-possession basketball game. Stuckey now his 8th career game with 30 or more points, and he has 30.
You know, in golf they give you mulligans. I think the ref would like a mulligan on that call because he moved on the pick, but there was no contact.
Denton is done. A career high 23 points tonight on 7 of 12 shooting. Perfect at the free throw line. 5 rebounds.
Appleby goes in. They know they're going to be taking fouls. They want some good free throw shooters in the game now.
Stuckey's first points in about 8 minutes. FSN Live coming your way straight ahead from Key Arena in Seattle. NBA basketball finishing our live triple header today. The Civil War and college basketball here at the University of Washington. And then the Sonics and Sacramento Kings. Sonics trying to get back to 500, where right now there are 11 teams in the NBA that are at 500 or within 2 games of it. So it's a good time for teams to separate.
Well, if you're the separating team, it's always a good time to separate.
And you know what?
But you know what?
A key point, too, though, Bob, for the Sonics, of those 11 teams, only 2 of them are under 500 at home, and Seattle is one of them.
Right. You got to protect that home court. There are just so many good teams in the West. You can't let anybody get too far ahead of you if you're going to stay in that playoff race.
So, Burmeister, who can lend a defensive presence
and can make free throws.
Appleby, another great defender, is on the floor. And yes, guys who can make free throws, that would be part of it. Pondexter is 6 out of 6. Boy, what a night he's had. Very quietly, 12 points, 7 rebounds. I mean, you look at the bigs tonight. Bobby Brockman has 7 rebounds. Haas has 5. That means the short boys have better than 30, almost 3 dozen. Now, Doris and Roscoe, mom and dad up from Fresno.
Mom's happy, dad's still, hey, well, the game's still going.
That's exactly right. Well, see, and you'd expect that kind of intensity for a guy who played for Lute Olson at Long Beach State and then went and played professionally in Europe for quite some time, I do believe. 10 years?
I'm not sure how long he played there.
5-point basketball game, though. Big free throw and out of bounds off of Oliver.
That made up for the last foul.
Well, and you know what? Burns cannot believe that Oliver didn't get whistled for that.
Oh, yeah, that was.
Here comes Brockman.
That's assault on the street.
Stuckey along the baseline, spin move in the trees. Bad decision. There's your star trying to do too much.
Well, he's running out of options. He's in there. He's trying to get in. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to draw the foul. You know, you take it in traffic, try and get it up there. He's done that before with success, but not that time. Good defense. Everybody kept their arms to themselves.
And triple teamed.
Yeah.
In the low post. And Pondexter just missed his first free throw, but made the second. 7 of 8. He's very close to a double-double. He has 8 rebounds.
And you know, it probably wasn't as bad a shot as it looked, because as a player, you know that, hey, they just missed me getting hit on the arm in the play before, so the next one is close. You think you're going to get. He didn't get that one.
Quincy has played a few minutes here. Couldn't be tired, could he? He's like he's got no lift all of a sudden in his legs. He's missed 3 out of 4 now.
I don't know if he's ever gotten tired. He's always still playing with hustle.
Now remember, coming into the game, he's a 68% free throw shooter. Williams beyond the arc is long, and the rebound wrestled away by Cram, and Appleby is called for the personal foul. Cram will shoot 2.
10 team fouls on Washington. Eastern double bonus.
Huskies are going to be okay if they can make their free throws, but they're going to have to make their free throws.
They've missed 10 tonight.
Yeah.
And
you can't come back when that happens.
Eastern has missed 7.
Yeah, they got to make their free throws if they're going to. Whenever you're trying to make a comeback, you've got to make your free throws. Coach Burns smart here. He's taking his 2 guys with foul trouble out because he knows he's going to foul here. So you don't want to take a chance on one of them having to be the guy that fouls.
Yeah, one thing too, Washington, give the Huskies credit for their defense in the paint. They have forced Eastern into 26 three-point attempts. 7 of 26 the Eagles are tonight, and timeout taken by the Eagles of 20. 4-point basketball game, but you know, at this point, they're down to their last match, and there is a strong wind blowing in Montlake.
Well, you never know what one missed free throw here and a 3-pointer and another missed free throw. You don't know what can happen. So I know one guy that's not feeling too good right now yet is Romar. He knows things can happen quickly in this game.
The voice of the Sonics, Kevin Calabro, the Hall of Famer Lenny Wilkins, standing by with Brad Adam at Key Arena. We will throw directly to the setup on FSN Live of the Sonics and Sacramento Kings. Washington has shot 26 free throws in the second half. 26 of their 34. They've missed all 10 here. They were 8 of 8 in the first half. Oliver trapped by Williams, and timeout is taken, called by the Washington bench.
Yeah. That's a smart play by Coach Burns. What he told his players was, we'll double team the first pass. If we can get a steal, we'll get it. If we can't, then we'll foul. So he gave it a couple seconds to see if they could pick off a pass. Didn't work.
Huskies are out of timeouts. Quincy Pondexter came in here having scored 22 against Sacramento State. Been a little tough for him tonight, 3 of 13, but what he has done in terms of defensive presence.
Well, defense, he does a little of everything. Great defense, his energy, his rebounding. Didn't have great numbers shooting from the field, but still a very effective ball game.
8 rebounds, 4 of those offensive.
And another big key is we got to give credit to Oliver and Pondexter is how many free throws Stuckey got. Kept them very low tonight.
6. Brandon Burmeister.
And this is why he's in the game. Coach has a lot of confidence when he's shooting the free throws.
Pretty good on charity. Williams is charged with the foul. Burmeister will shoot a pair with 20 seconds remaining, and if he makes both of these, then you can pretty much turn the lights out on this game, because that would make it a 3-possession Washington lead. Halfway there.
Well, not only that, but to get the ball back, they're going to have to foul you more times. So, it even stretches it out more than that.
Eastern Washington heeded Mike Burns' warning that they were going to have to weather the storm, but in the end, Washington was just a little bit too strong and ground them down. And Budarak and Haas battling for the rebound. It's off Spencer Haas. And Eastern Washington basketball with about 20 seconds remaining. Still a 2-possession game, so we're going to be in paint drying mode here. Shoot and foul. Shoot, score, and foul. Cram with the long miss. Taylor turns around, and air ball. Brockman, and that'll do it. Now Cram is going to hustle this one right down to the end. You see the frustration. Mike Burns got a couple of looks that he wanted, but in the end, he can draw it up if the guys have to finish the play.
Yeah, they got a nice shot. Good penetration by Stuckey. They got Omar coming right off the pick. Missed a shot.
In the end, the difference is in this game the way that you saw it.
Well, I'll tell you, I thought the difference was there's so many. You can't just point to one thing. But Oliver was tremendously big with defense and offense. I thought, the injury to Budarak. That hurt their ball club. They made an 11-0 run at that point. But it was a great ball game, and Washington had all they could handle tonight. This is a good basketball team.
Paul Budarak with 3 blocks tonight, establishing the all-time blocked shots record for Eastern Washington, surpassing Chris White from 98 to 2000. Eastern will head back over the Snoqualmie Pass. They had a little adventure yesterday. It took them about 2 hours to get across the pass, and with snow levels forecast to be, what, about 1,000 feet, maybe even lower. Well, good thing they're staying the night here in Seattle so that all these Western Washington guys can see their family. One last gasp from Stuckey, but the Huskies make a late run and shut the door on Eastern Washington. For Bob Weiss and the gang, I'm Brian Davis. The final 90-83. The UW now 5-0, and to Brad Adam on FSN Live at Key Arena.